Hello and welcome to another episode. Today's a special day, a game that I've been looking forward to, this collector's edition especially, I've been looking forward to since it was announced like last May, I want to say. Shit, actually it could have been a year ago. Like it's been a while since this came out, but the specifically the Nintendo Switch version of it I think was announced in May because that's when I reserved it. Sonic Mania. So I want to talk about Sonic Mania. I'm going to do kind of a mini review of the game. I haven't finished the game yet, but I've played enough of it that I can talk to it at somewhat length. But first, before that, I want to talk about this excellent collector's edition that came out that has one flaw, but the rest of it's really good. So we'll start with that. So the first thing I want to point out about the collector's edition is that it comes in this huge box, as you can see. Now I've already taken everything out of it, so I'm not going to open the box, but this box is huge. It reminds me of the Sega Genesis box. It looks awesome. This is a high quality box. It shows you on the side everything that comes in it. The side that says welcome to the next level, and then even the back it shows a bunch of the game. This is awesome packaging. I always like it when collector's editions have good packaging. Now before I get to the big thing that's in here, there are some cool little things. This is the one that doesn't really make sense. There's this metal card that comes in here that looks like this as I drop it, and the back side of it looks like this. This is a little thing that was in there. I'm not really sure. It's just like a collectible card. You can hear it makes a little, it's definitely metallic. Whatever, that's fine. One of the cool things that comes in this collector's edition is it isn't real. This is a cart. It looks like a Sega Genesis cart of Sonic Mania. Now this looks really cool. It actually has a label. It's not a real cart, but it's the same size as a Genesis cart. And I know there are fans out there that have gotten a Genesis case. It'll actually fit in a Sega Genesis case, and there are people that have printed out cover art and made this a box on their shelf. It's something I might do at some point, but I haven't just done it yet. However, when you take this thing and you open it, it slides out like so, and in here is a replica Sonic ring, which actually has some weight to it and it feels really good. So that's one aspect of this, and it just slides back up and it looks like it's gonna fall down because of gravity, but it looks really good. Then obviously the biggest part of this entire collector's edition, there is, and it's pretty big, a statue of Sonic himself sitting on top of a Sega Genesis. Now this Sega Genesis is not real, but it is the same exact size as a Sega Genesis. It literally lines up with the Sega Genesis that I own. I have two Sega Genesis. And the cool thing about it, I haven't put batteries in it, but it does light up and make noises. I just like Sega and Sonic noises. I just haven't done that. Now, the one complaint I have about mine in particular is if you can see his eye is a little bit jacked on the paint job. And again, I'm sure these things were made rather cheaply, but I think for the price that it was $70. I was able to get it on Amazon with Amazon Prime before they, change all their terms of service. I got this collector's edition down to like 50 bucks. So I think for $50, this is worth it. This statue is really cool, and is a lukewarm fan to Sonic. I really enjoy having this as part of my collection. The one complaint I have about this game, or this collector's edition I should say, is it came with a digital code. And I think that's kind of a slap to the face of not only the fans of Sonic, but the people that you're trying to capture this game. You're trying to capture the nostalgia from people that grew up with Sonic like me. People that grew up with this stuff collect physical video games. And I think it would have been who of them to make a physical copy to put in this box. Now, maybe later on they're planning on making a physical copy of Sonic Mania. I'm sure that will happen down the road. And maybe at that point I'll just buy it and throw it in with this collector's edition. But that is the one aspect of this whole thing that is disappointing. It's a $20 game on its own, and it comes in this $70 collector's edition as a code. I think you could easily just taken this collector's edition and said, hey, you want a physical copy of it? Only in the collector's edition. They wouldn't have had to have made as many, and it would have been a real collector's item to have a physical copy of this game. Sonic Mania, first of all, I will state this by saying Sonic Mania is the best Sonic game that has come out since the original trilogy of Sonic games. And yes, there are other Sonic games that have come out, and yes, there are a lot of bad Sonic games that have come out. Now, some people are going to get in the comments, they're going to be angry and say Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. I didn't care for those games when they came out. I own them. I don't think I ever played Sonic Adventure 2, but I played Sonic Adventure a little bit. I just couldn't get into it. It's not my thing. I never felt 3D has worked for Sonic. It's kind of like people have the same argument for Castlevania, which I disagree with. So I get, for Sonic fans out there that are angry at the statement I just made, I understand why you're angry, because on the Castlevania side of things, I will argue that no, they made some really good 3D Castlevania games. Layman of Innocence is a really good game, and both Lords of Shadow games are good. One is great, the other one not so much, but still, they made good games. But Sonic has never had a good 3D game, so what do you do with Sonic at this point? You know, he's had some lousy 3D games. They've tried so many different things. You know, the 06 Sonic game, which I'll review some point on Greatest Generation, you know, he's kissing a human girl, which is super weird to watch. There is Sonic Generations, which tried to mirror like new Sonic with old Sonic, and it worked to a degree. There's Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2, which was supposed to be like the return to classic Sonic, but it just didn't really work out. There's a Wii U Sonic game. There's a couple Wii U Sonic games that are, you know, they're on the tip of my tongue, I can't remember. One in particular is one of the worst games ever made, which is Sonic Boom. And if you ever want to watch a really funny playthrough of that game, the Game Grumps do an outstanding playthrough of Sonic Boom. And it is such a travesty of a game, but it is worth watching them play through because it's incredibly funny and humorous. Those guys do good work over there. There was another one on the Wii U that's name has escaped me right now, but that one fell off because the speed's not there. So, you know, you're sitting here like, what do you do with Sonic, man? Like, it's 2017. He hasn't had a good game since like 95. Like, what do you do? Well, Sega did something that I feel more companies should do. And they reached out to the fans who love this character and love the early games that were already making fan games and said, make us a Sonic game, and they paid them for it. And the game that you got is Sonic Mania. So Sonic Mania is a direct sequel to the earlier Sonic games, and it has new and old mixed in with it. So it's not really a remaster. It is probably the best looking 2D game you're ever going to see. I know on the PS4 Pro it runs at native 4K, which is cool. I'm playing on the Switch because that's where I wanted to play this game. And that's the collector's edition I bought of the game, but it's really well done. The music is outstanding. It is just an utter fan service of a game. And if Sonic was to me as Mario is to me, I would be in utter heaven right now with this game because everything about it just caters to those fans that have waited such a long time for a Sonic game. And I don't really have anything negative to say about this game. It's just really well done, and everything about it, the graphics look great, the music is just outstanding, some of the best Sonic music in any of the games. It controls just as tight as the old Sonic games that you remember, and everything about it is just fan service after fan service after fan service, and it's going to be really hard. There's the other Sonic game that's supposed to come out this year, but I feel like it'll get delayed, called Sonic Forces, and that's like your next big 3D Sonic game. I feel like that game's probably going to be bad. I could be wrong, but especially when you stack it up to this thing, there's no way. Sega really hit the mark with Sonic Forces. It's just, it captures the nostalgia perfectly, and it runs with it. I really like what I've played of it. I haven't finished it, like I said, so this isn't what I would consider a full review, but if I were going to give it a letter grade, it's easily an A-. Again, I don't feel any game's perfect, but it's as close to an A+ as I'll give it. The only reason I'm giving it an A-, and this might be a little upsetting to some people, is I think the collector's edition, if you would have put that physical copy in there, A+, A+, A+. You know, I'd be firing off pistols right now. But I think A- is fair for what this game is. Again, and if I have one complaint about it, and this is specific to the Switch version of this game, but I have noticed I've only played it in handheld mode. I haven't really played it in TV mode other than to capture footage for it. And this problem only exists on the handheld version. When you press the home button, it is delayed to go back to that screen by about 5 seconds. It's just off. It's a little nitpick thing I have that can be probably easily patched at some point, but it's just a little nitpick I have. But I really like this game. I think it's excellent. I think if you're a fan of Sonic, if you're a fan of old games, if you grew up with Sonic, you're gonna have a blast with this game. There's really no reason not to play it. I've read that it's sold incredibly well in its first week. I'm happy for everybody involved, and I hope in the future we can look back, especially companies like Sega. I hope that maybe Nintendo looks at this. You know, recently Nintendo had this kind of whole issue with that fan remake of Metroid 2 called AM2R, which is an excellent fan-supported remake of a Metroid game that only existed on the original Game Boy. And the reason Nintendo came out and, you know, big bad Nintendo came out with their pitchforks and shut it down is because they were already working on a Metroid 2 remake for the 3DS, which is coming out next month, called Samus Returns. I'm actually excited about that game. I'm excited to turn on my 3DS for the first time in a while and play a game, but especially that. And it's developed by Mercury Steam, the people that made Castlevania Lords of Shadow 1 and 2. Lords of Shadow, as you know, is a game I hold, very beloved game that I hold dear to my heart. So I'm excited to see what they've done with Metroid and a remake of that game. But this just goes to show, like, if companies like Sega can sit down and say, hey, you know what, there are fans making this game better than we are. Let's let them do it and pay them for it. I hope Nintendo can follow suit. I hope that Capcom can follow suit. You know, there is an excellent fan. I have not played it. I've only watched videos of it, but Mario Maker is a huge game for Nintendo. They did an excellent job of creating a easy way for fans to make Mario content with classic Mario skins like Mario 1, Mario 2, or is it Mario 2? No, Mario 1, Mario 3, Super Mario World, and New Super Mario Brothers. That's an excellent game, and fans of Mega Man did the same thing, and they created a game called Mega Man Maker, which is a fan-supported game. I'm amazed Capcom, as of this recording, hasn't shut that game down yet. I hope that Capcom looks at that and goes, hey, that's, you know what? That's a really good idea. Let's just fund it and put it out as an official release. So I hope, you know, that companies look at what Sega did with Sonic Mania, how they went out and said, hey, you guys are making this game, here's some funding, make it and we'll sell it. And I hope more companies do that, because when companies and fans work together, they create awesome things, and Sonic Mania is proof that that can happen. And in a perfect world, more companies will do this, but you know, time will tell. And Nintendo usually is the most stingy when it comes to their characters and their mascot, you know, obviously with Mario. But I hope that they can look at this and go, hey, you know what, that's a really good idea. Let's do that. So anyways, guys, Sonic Mania, I'm giving it an A-. I think you guys should play it. It's a really, really awesome game. It's unique enough, but it captures the nostalgia of Sonic really, really well. And as someone who's not the biggest Sonic fan, I really enjoy this game. Hope you guys like this video. Until next time.